Good morning and welcome back. We are live once again for the latest MotoGP team presentation in 2024 after Mark and Alex Marquez took the spotlight on Saturday to kick off presentation season. We're back this time for the world champion to take centre stage after taking back-to-back titles in 2022 and 2023. Pecco Bagnaya's quest for a hat-trick of Premier Class crowns starts right here. Welcome back, Jack Appleyard with you for the next couple of hours. If you weren't with us on Saturday for the very first Launches Live, then you're in for a treat. We'll be talking live to the likes of Guido Meda, Sky Sports Italy's lead commentator. Simon Crafar will be joining us later on as well. Plus, we'll be hearing live from the likes of Pecco Bagnaia, Enea Bastianini, Davide Tardozzi, and more. So settle in, don't go anywhere. There's plenty to look forward to over the coming couple of hours. It's a busy week as well. Let's take a look at the team presentations that are going to be coming your way over the next 7 days. And as we said, it all starts here with the Ducati Lenovo Team officially getting their 2024 underway. On Wednesday, we'll be live back to Italy for the Pertamina Enduro VR46 racing team launch, the newly branded Pertamina Enduro VR46 squad. And then Trackhouse Racing, the latest addition to MotoGP. We're having their presentation from the glitzy and glamorous location of Los Angeles, California on Friday night in America. We'll be live on Saturday to bring you a full roundup of everything that went down in LA on Friday night, and we'll be chatting live to Miguel Oliveira and Raul Fernandez as well. But that's to come your way on Saturday. Our focus, of course, is the Ducati Lenovo team launch. I mentioned things coming up that you can look forward to. Here is official confirmation of our schedule over the coming couple of hours. All the key bits of information here that you need to be tuning into will be live from Madonna di Camplio very, very soon. Indeed, our man Conor Doherty that was there in the Gresini launch in Riccione on Saturday has made the trip across. We're then hearing from Guido Meda, the voice of MotoGP in Italy. The presentation itself gets underway in just under half an hour's time at 10:30 local time in Italy. And then once that is done, live interviews with the likes of the world champion Enea Bastianini, Davide Tardozzi. We'll also be hearing from some key men involved in the MotoGP project, including the brains, Gigi Dall'Igna. Expert Eye, we always finish it off with that. We may well move that around and come a little bit earlier once the presentation is finished. Simon Crafar will be joining us live. Great to be able to catch up with Simon and get his thoughts on what Ducati have to do in 2024 to be able to hold on to the World Championship crown that they, of course, have won in now back-to-back seasons. A big year for them. We spoke at length on Saturday about the arrival of Marc Marquez into the Ducati, and you feel as though that Marc and Alex Marquez's biggest threat is going to come from the man holding the number one plate. Well, he held the number one plate last year, of course, made the switch across from the 63. We're fully anticipating to see the number one on the front of that Ducati again, but we don't know until about half an hour's time when the covers are going to come off. No indications from Pecco that he's going to ditch the number one. No reason to whatsoever as well. So I personally am hoping that that number one is going to be there once again, and I think it's safe to say it is going to be there. And a huge year as well, goes without saying, for Enea Bastianini, the number 23, who had a remarkable 2022, finishing third in the World Championship. So unlucky last year, but has to hit the ground running this year. As ever, guys, if you are watching us, you can get involved. Tell us where you're watching from. Tell us what you think is going to happen in 2024, your predictions for both Pecco and Enea. Make sure you put in those messages in the chat, and we'll be filing them through and pushing them out live and reacting to them as we go throughout the show as well. So make sure you get in touch with us and get in contact with the show over the next couple of hours. Right, we promised that we'd head across live to Italy, and we are going to, for the very first time, Conor Doherty, the busiest man in Italy, from Riccione on Saturday across to Madonna di Camplio on Monday morning. A slight change in scenery, as we can see, with the snow on the floor there, Conor. Just set the tone for us and bring us up to speed with everything that we can expect over the next couple of hours down in Italy.
That's right, Jack. The Grand Tour of Italy continues as we're here for the Ducati presentation, this time in Madonna di Campiglio. As you've just commented, the snow, it is absolutely beautiful here. It's freezing cold. I've already caught a cold. And over the course of the next few hours, we'll be speaking to you about what's going on here at the Ducati presentation. We're going to see the Superbike and the MotoGP teams.
Looks as though we just lost Connor for a second there with the connection, but hopefully we'll be back with him in just a moment to...
so when we can, we'll speak to you... So we'll see you shortly, bringing you all the latest of what's happening here. Ducati really rolling out the red carpet, the colour, of course, of choice for the factory team. We're going to go inside now, see who we can speak to, see what's going on. So until then, Jack, we'll come back to you shortly. But right now, we'll go to you in the studio.
Thank you very much, Connor. Yeah, get back inside and get nice and warm. It does look a little bit chilly there in Madonna di Campiglio. Of course, it's the second year in a row that Ducati have held their presentation in the Italian Dolomites up in the mountains from last year, and I believe it's going to be the case once again this year. The likes of Pecco, Enea, and as Connor said there, the World Superbike boys are there. Alvaro Bautista and Nicolo Buliga, a new look lineup for them this year. I think they're going to be getting the skis on later in the day and having themselves a little bit of a slalom race. That was the plan last year, and I'm sure it's going to be the same this year as well. Right, of course, 2024, just around the corner. The season is going to be underway the 9th, the 10th of March, the first sprint of the year, and the 9th of March under the lights in Qatar, and then the opening Grand Prix of 2024 on the 10th of March. 22 rounds, 22 Grand Prix, 22 sprints. Make sure you grab your tickets for your nearest venue. Or in fact, we're in January, Christmas has finished, everybody's wanting something to look forward to. Why don't you get yourself a little bucket list trip sorted? Fly out to Austin, enjoy the music, the foods, the vibrancy of the American Grand Prix. Go to Mugello, see the Italian guys in full flow with flares everywhere. There's no atmosphere quite like it. So there's a link in the chat there for you guys watching on YouTube and Twitch, or if you're on Instagram and Twitter. Then just head to MotoGP.com and get your tickets booked and make sure that you are trackside for at least one Grand Prix in what is going to be a historic 2024. Right, okay, so on Saturday, for the first time when we were speaking live to the riders, we had the opportunity to put across to them some questions that you guys have been sending in to us. It's going to be exactly the same once again. Pecco Bagnaia and Enea Bastianini, we've got a couple of questions for both of them coming courtesy of you. Just remember that this will be going up on our Instagram stories, so make sure you're following MotoGP on Instagram. And around a couple of days, 3 days before each presentation, we'll be putting a post out allowing you to commit your questions, submit your questions, and the best ones will get chosen. And you might even make a live appearance on Launches Live, just like these guys are going to do.
Fan living in Singapore. I have a question for Enea. I'd really like to know what names you've chosen to give your two bikes for the season. I'm looking forward to all the racing and I can't wait. Wish you both the best of luck. Thanks. Bye.
Hello, I'm Dennis from Malaysia. I have a question for Pecco. Pecco, what's been your best moment in MotoGP so far?
Hello everyone, I'm Raquel from Spain and I have a question for both Pecco and Enea. What do you like about each other's riding style? Thank you, wish you the best for next season and ciao.
Thank you very much to those guys for submitting their questions from America via Hong Kong, Malaysia to Spain as well. Great to see that the MotoGP fans around the world are getting in touch with us and sending to us their questions. Some good questions there as well. I quite like all of them. There were some good ones on Saturday. So no pressure, guys, but if you are submitting your questions, the ball is pretty high. Right, opportunity for you guys to get in touch then. As you saw on Saturday, we'll be sending a couple of polls your way. This is the first one of the day for us, and it is a simple one, but it's the big one. The question, will Pecco Bagnaia be able to make it a hat-trick of World Championships in 2020? Will he be the World Champion this year? Easy. In the chat, just put A or B, yes or no. And in around 5 to 10 minutes time, we'll show the answers and find out what you guys think. Is it going to be yet another year for Pecco Bagnaia to have championship success? No pressure, but when we did it on Saturday, I think it was around 80% of you said that Marc Marquez was going to be world champion. So if we have 80% saying Pecco Bagnaia is going to be world champion today, then we need to do some maths and work out exactly who is saying who, because you guys in the chat, if you're saying that both are going to be world champion, then you need to have a read of the rule book before we get underway. Right, we'll be heading back across to Madonna di Camplio very, very soon indeed to hopefully hear from Sky Sports Italy's Guido Meda, the voice of MotoGP in Italy. Before that, though, let's just take a look at what's been going down on social media, because the Ducati boys arrived around midday yesterday, and they had a big gala dinner last night with all the stars out, including the world champion Pecco Bagnaia, we can see here enjoying a glass of vino, as he's allowed to do in January. Of course, training starting to ramp up, but won't be into full flow until we get into February and the start of the Sepang test, which, of course, is at the beginning of February, around a couple of weeks away. Now, who else was in attendance then? Let's take a look here. If I can get my mouse sorted, that would help. So Bagnaia there, Gigi looking very smart indeed. A new shirt, potentially a Christmas present for Gigi Dall'Igna there. Looking very, very smart. The turtleneck for Enea Bastianini, big year for him. Looking as stylish as ever is Enea. Of course, a number of Ducati machines on show. And it's not just one world champion, but two world champions and two back-to-back world champions in attendance. Alvaro Bautista, who, of course, made that wild card appearance in Sepang late last year as a gift for winning the World Superbike Championship. He's looking for a hat-trick for Ducati as well. Will we see Bautista back on a MotoGP bike this year? He said that he wanted another go, was really frustrated that a slight injury hampered him and wasn't allowing him to really show his full potential at the Malaysian Grand Prix. So let's see, maybe we'll see Bautista back out taking a wild card in 2024. However, with the new concession rules that have been introduced this year, only one wildcard appearance allowed for Ducati this year, and you would think that that's going to come courtesy of this man, Michele Pirro, potentially at Mugello or Misano. So unfortunately for Bautista, it does look as though his options are limited to be making another MotoGP appearance this year. Of course, Tony Cairoli there, a multiple motocross world champion. A big day for Ducati. Not only are they launching their MotoGP project and the World Superbike project as well, but they've actually ventured into the dirt as well. The Motocross World Championship project has been launched today, which is where Paolo Ciabatti, a familiar face, a familiar name for a lot of you, he's moved his way across to that project, so we won't be seeing Paolo Ciabatti in the paddock, or certainly on a business level. I'm sure he'll be coming to spend some time there. What else have we got here? Oh, look at that. What a lovely Ducati-style dessert. That looks delightful. I've not had any breakfast yet as well. This is the big tease that they put out the other day. Are we going to see a huge livery change? We're about 15 minutes away from finding out when they pull the covers off the GP24 for the Ducati Lenovo Team squad. So not long to wait. Not really too much that we can tell from that. I was zooming in on that earlier today. In fact, I can get a bit closer. Can't really see too much. But anyway, let's head back to Madonna di Camplio. A real pleasure this to be able to hear from the voice of Sky Sports Italy. In Italy for MotoGP, a man that's been in the paddock for a number of years, very, very experienced, and of course, no better man to speak to when the world champion himself is Italian, Guido Meda. Guido, thank you very much for joining us. What is the excitement levels like there in Italy ahead of the world champion officially starting his 2024?
It's a great pleasure, of course. Ciao, Jack. Ciao to everybody. What is important, I think, is that it's the second time we come here with an Italian champion on an Italian bike. So, as you can imagine, for us, Italian, it's a kind of a great occasion to be proud of what they did, Ducati and Bagnaia did, of course. So it's a big excitement. Looking forward for seeing the bike and to feel un po' the feeling of the riders.
And for Pecco Bagnaia this year, looking for a third straight World Championship. Is this going to be his most difficult challenge yet, though? Yeah, with Jorge Martin growing, Marc Marquez, of course, arriving on a Ducati as well?
Definitely, yes. I was talking to Pecco just 5 minutes ago about this, not in an interview, but in a little private conversation, and we were saying this. He said, when you have to grow in your life, and you want to grow in your life as big as is the challenge you have, as more real becomes your value, so he knows perfectly that it's going to be maybe the toughest season he's going to front this year. And as you can imagine, we feel exactly the same for him and for the others. They have to beat the world champion, and the world champion has to beat them, and they are a lot. It's a good thing for me and for you, a great thing for the show, but maybe a kind of a nightmare for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure that Pecco Bagnaia would much rather have it that he didn't have so many riders being so fast at the moment. Of course, as you say, it's a special time for MotoGP in Italy. An Italian world champion on an Italian motorcycle. We saw when we went to both Mugello and Misano. The grandstands were packed. The atmosphere was incredibly special. Just talk us through what it's like being in Italy at the moment in this special moment.
I have to tell you the truth. We were afraid after Valentino Rossi's retirement. As you can imagine, he had kind of printed in the heart of every Italian something special, and yes, we were afraid that something would have been spoiled without him, even if he was not winning in the last part of his career. But we were lucky. Sometimes in life happens. As Italians, we were lucky to find a kind of a Valentino's pupil like Pecco, such a technological machine as a Ducati, and the couple of Ducati made the difference and brought back Italians to the races, even if he was not alone, because Martin or even Bezzecchi or the others, they did a really great job.
Just finally, very, very quickly, because I know you need to go, but just on Enea Bastianini, incredibly unlucky last year, a huge year ahead for him as well.
Yes, of course. We didn't see the true Bastianini last year, as he was blessed in the first part of the season. So I'm looking forward to finding him back as he was 2 years ago. And I think there is no reason to think that he will not be like that. So this red one, it will be a great couple.
Absolutely. Guido, thank you for your time. I know you've got a busy morning ahead of you there in Modena, so thank you for your time and enjoy the season. We'll catch up with him in Qatar when we get there for round one, but great to get the thoughts live from Italy of the voice of MotoGP in Italy, Guido Maida, and picking up on some good points as well. Interesting insight there, that conversation that he just had with Pecco Bagnaia and Pecco himself holding his hands up and admitting that this is his biggest year yet. This is his biggest challenge yet. The amount of growth that we're seeing, not only from him, but Jorge Martin into another year with so much experience gained from last year. Marc Marquez, we expect to be back to his best. And what can the likes of KTM and Brad Binder, Aprilia, Honda, even Yamaha now with those concessions do? It's going to be a great year. And as a result, well, you guys at home are almost split, just about leaning in the favour of Pecco Bagnaia picking up that third straight world championship. But on Saturday, when we asked the question of whether it will be 9 times world champion Marc Marquez come November and Valencia, that was a bit of a landslide victory with over 80% of you not so convinced that Bagnaia will be able to do the hat-trick this year, arguably for the reasons we've just mentioned, that his challenge and the task ahead of him is probably the biggest he's yet to face. So interesting there. Again, in the chat, do let us know why you think Pecco has got it in him to be able to pick up a third straight world championship, and why you think he's not got it in him, and why you think someone else is going to be able to steal that world championship crown away from him. But certainly interesting, that one, to be able to see that only 57% of you think that Bagnaia will be a world champion again in 2024. Right, we've just heard from Guido there. For you guys that aren't based in Italy and maybe don't get the opportunity to hear from him and his emotive, passionate, truly Italian style of commentary. Now, this was a brilliant video that we put together in the back end of last year in the aftermath of that incredibly dramatic Valencian Grand Prix where Bagnaia and Martin went toe-to-toe in those opening couple of laps. In fact, I'm not going to spoil it. This is heard around the world, Bagnaia's crowning moment. A great watch this.
Dopo il semaforo scatenate l'inferno. Prima dentro. Gas a martello. E boom!
Pecco Bagnaia is a demon on the brakes.
Missed it by miles there.
And Martin tries to cut underneath.
Vielleicht ist das im Windschatten nach der 880 Meter langen Geraden.
Can Martin pounce on the run to the first corner?
Attaccata su Bagnaia che invece frena forte. L'ha preso.
Oh, attenzione il contatto!
And he's touched him. Y atención, secuela. Se ha abierto. Madre mía. Ha salvado la caída y va a tener que remar de nuevo. That could be the championship right there. Look how he fires back onto the racetrack though, in front of his pal Aleix Espargaro.
Adesso farà il matto Martin per tornare là davanti. Che rischio, ragazzi.
Here we go. He's got a good run there through. Martin's got a good run. Is he going to have a look into turn 2?
Marquez through again on Zarco. You saw the smoke from his boot as Martin picks the opportunity up.
Il est maintenant 6e, Jorge Martin.
Y esto lo tienen que ayudar las KTM, tienen que ponerse delante.
Oh.
Botta! Che botta! È Martin!
Al suelo, Martin y Marquez.
Still catches you by
That's it.
surprise.
The championship is done. Martin and Marc Marquez have crashed and the championship is run.
Se tocan y en este instante es campeón del mundo.
Francesco Bagnaia, même s'il ne termine pas dans les points, même si il chute, il sera champion du monde.
Und Marc Marquez fliegt hoffentlich ohne Verletzung.
Oddio, ha calibrato male la staccata di Giannantonio e dentro potrebbe essere una volata.
Bagnaia has the superior traction. He has the superior bike.
Una nuvola rossa appare ed è più luminosa del cielo.
Il capo, il maestro, doppio campione, il est double champion du monde, MotoGP.
Pecco Bagnaia is your 2023 MotoGP World Champion.
Y gana el campeón del mundo. Se proclama campeón ganando. A lo grande, campeón del mundo, revalida el título.
Pecco Bagnaia c'è. Grazie Pecco. Ed è campione del mondo per la seconda volta in MotoGP.
Brilliantly done by the guys around the world. Gav there for TNT Sports, who of course we heard from on Saturday. Matt Burt, of course, a part of our own MotoGP feed that we're going to be chatting to as we go throughout the show. I think actually Bertie's got a little holiday planned, a well-deserved one as well, but hopefully we'll be able to grab a word from him. So you guys have been getting in touch in the chat. Dearie me, Matt the Mad Botanist, have you not got some flowers to attend to? He was chatting away on Saturday as well. And he's straight in. I mean, I love the comment, love the Italian commentators. There is really, there's no passion like the Italians. But Matt, great to hear from you again. What's Danny saying? Go beat Marquez for this season in MotoGP. I think he's talking about Pecco. And I hope, yeah, there we go. I hope Pecco will become a 3-time world champion. Well, he'll become a 4-time world champion. We saw that he had the 3 rings, I think he was showing, in Valencia in November to count for that Moto2, MotoGP and second MotoGP championship. Yeah, 2023, a ridiculously impressive year for Ducati, BSB, British Superbike World Champion, World Superbike Champion, and MotoGP as well. Oggi, I'm in class. Oggi, please. I know that MotoGP is important, but school is importanter. So turn off the stream, concentrate on the maths lesson, and then watch it on YouTube in around 4 or 5 hours' time, maybe on your lunch break. But I, for one, I don't want to advocate you not paying attention in school. I mean, thank you. I admire the dedication, but school is more important. Concentrate on your lesson. Thank you. Public service message from Jack Appleyards there. And MotoGP. I think that's a message that we want. One man that definitely went to school. Extremely educated about what is about to come our way in a couple of moments' time. Just 5 minutes out from the world champions unveiling their 2024 machine. Connor, talk us through it. Set the scene.
Well, Jack, the lights have just gone out here before the presentation. The welcome coffee finished just minutes ago, and people have been pouring in. We've seen the stars of the show, the VIPs, Pecco Bagnaia and Enea Bastianini, taking their seats right at the front, down below, and we've seen Gigi Dall'Igna, We've seen Paolo Ciabatti, all the heavyweights, just waiting to see those motorbikes unveiled right behind me. If you can see as well, my Italian's not fantastic, you know that, Jack. But the name of the event here is, I believe, Campioni in Pista, and my translation of that would be Champions on the Slopes. And the event that they've set up here at Ducati is simply fantastic. The scale of it is just monumental. Yesterday, I think you mentioned it earlier, they hosted a dinner for everyone, for sponsors, for journalists, up at the top of the mountain, and that was wonderful. I'll tell you about that later, but we're running out of time here because, as you just said, things are about to get started in earnest, so I'll go back to you in the studio for the time being.
Yeah, cheers, Connor. Do you know what? I said you were educated. That Italian was, if I can say, bellissimo. Superb. Thank you for that translation. Champions on the Slopes. We'll let you go, though, because, as you say, we're just about 4 minutes away from the live presentation getting underway, so he needs to take his seat and get ready to take some notes headed from chatting away to the key men, the key protagonists in the Ducati Lenovo squad later on. Right, we had the poll, we had the results. Time for a quiz question now. I had a word with the guys in the back because a couple of questions that we had last time were really, really poor. This one, though, I think is going to get you thinking. Enea Bastianini, what is his favourite movie? I don't think I know this one, actually. Is it A, Star Wars? In fact, I think I do know, and I've got a fun fact for you. If it is the answer, I think it is afterwards. So A, Star Wars. B, Indiana Jones. C, Harry Potter. D, Sharknado. Great movie. All you need to do in the comments, in the chat, A, B, C, or D. Or if you want to, and you've got time, you can type out Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Harry Potter, or Sharknado. We'll be giving you the results of that one in around 60 seconds, a couple of minutes time before we go live for the presentation. So get them in now, get them in quick, and we'll give you the answer very, very shortly indeed. My fun fact that I'm going to wait for, a bit of a clue for you, is to do with Enea Bastianini's dog. So if you have an idea of what his dog's called, then that should give you the answer. Right, make sure you are getting in touch as long as answering that quiz question. Where you're in touch from, where you're chatting to us from, because we've already seen some questions that have been asked from you guys at home have come from Hong Kong, from Spain, from Malaysia. On Saturday, we had some of you tuning in from Uruguay as well. It was great to see us ticking off as many continents, as many countries around the world, around the globe as we can do, ahead of our world tour getting underway, and of course some new venues for us to tackle in 2024 as well. Kazakhstan on the calendar, looking forward to going there, but we're returning to India for the second time, the Bud International Circuit. What a great event that was late last year, and look at that, we're now very, very soon indeed going to be going live for the Campioni in Pista event, live in Madonna di Campiglio, Italy, in the Italian Dolomites. Connor, once again, getting the great gigs. He was in a nightclub on Saturday night. He's on the ski slopes on a Monday. Something has definitely gone wrong for me to be here in the chilly Catalan capital. I'd need to turn the heating up once we go live across to the presentation, because it's a bit cold this morning here. I hope you're staying warm wherever you are. And let's just give you the quiz results then before we go live. We're around 60 seconds away. So what was Enea Bastianini's favourite film? It was indeed Harry Potter. A D. Come on, guys. It obviously wasn't Sharknado. I know that was the comical answer, and some of you have opted for it. But it was Harry Potter. Indiana Jones B. 25% of you going with that. And the fun fact I was going to tell you, the clue, Enea Bastianini's dog is, of course, called Hagrid. So there you go. If you knew that, then you knew the answer. Harry Potter, his favourite film. Right, seconds away then from getting this one underway. I'm excited for this because the livery looked pretty good in 2023. I'm now interested to see how the 2024 World Champion is going to look this year as he goes for the hat-trick. Don't go anywhere. The presentation is coming up live. Once it's finished, we'll be chatting live to all the riders, all the team managers, and hearing from Simon Crafar as well. Plenty still to come your way once the World Champion has officially been presented.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the official presentation of Ducati Corses teams for the new season 2024. So welcome to all the people here in the room and all the people connected from home through our streaming service. We're back in this amazing location, Madonna di Campiglio, after an amazing year full of success, a lot of wins, and a location that is hosting us once again, together with our champions that will get on the stage soon. We will introduce them soon, but before doing that, let's invite on the stage the person that represents this area, the president of Madonna di Campiglio Tourism Board, Giulio Serafini. Hi Giulio, welcome. Thank you. Good morning. I would like to welcome you all on behalf of Azienda per il Turismo, the tourism board at the province of Trento, Trentino Marketing, and the mayors of Treviso and Pinzolo. It's a great pleasure to host this second edition of Campioni in Pista, an initiative, an event which is very important to us because it allows us to enhance and to strengthen this collaboration with an excellent company, a great company, Ducati, and together with a territory, which is the territory of Madonna di Campiglio. It's going to be two very important days, and I would like to thank Claudio Domenicali, Ducati's CEO, that knows us and works with us. And the video that you can see behind me is a summary of the values and principles of our territory and our destination. And at the end of the video, you can see a payoff where mountains meet humans. It's our manifesto, let's say, and it really gives you an idea of our principles, of our values, which are based on the combination of nature and human beings. This sort of connection happens here in Madonna di Campiglio through people hugging in a way, so it's a sort of embrace between nature and human beings. So talking about synergies and collaboration, I would like to thank and greet another very important company that has been working for us for 11 years, and it's also our official partner. We've been sharing with them very important projects, and we share also a great passion for mountains, innovation, and respect for the environment. This company is Audi, so I would like to thank and invite on the stage Audi and the person who represents it. So let's invite on the stage the brand director of Audi Italy, Fabrizio. So you have had a great collaboration, a great relationship with them. So welcome everyone. Yeah, we've been collaborating for 11 years, and that means that, of course, it's a long relationship and you have some values in common. It's a great story because we've been doing a lot of things in the last 11 years. We didn't just want to sell cars, we were not interested in that. We wanted to talk about us, to talk about Audi and to talk about Madonna di Campiglio. It was a great journey because we helped each other. So they helped us, they wanted to present Madonna di Campiglio as an excellent area, and we wanted to help them promote the respect for the environment and the fight against over-tourism. So we tried to help them analyze the tourists' flows and the management of these flows. So these flows need to be balanced and managed if we want to develop the economy while protecting the environment. These are two values which can be combined. We managed to combine them, and through initiatives, events, we managed to create some spaces where we could talk about safety. Together with the tourists of Madonna di Campiglio, we also installed some charging stations for sustainable electric mobility, and we talked about mountain ecosystem. So the beauty of these places is cleared, but these places, this territory is also very fragile. So we shouldn't just talk about what we can do, but we should focus on real practice initiatives. But today is devoted to Ducati, so I will stop talking, but let's go back to the theme of this session. Well, in the afternoon we will launch another project called Audi Mountain Progress Lab. It was developed together with the Tourism Board of Madonna di Campiglio and two scientific partners, Trento University and H Farm. So we will work together to gather data that will be fed back, and we will raise awareness among the people that come to Campiglio through the smart use of mobility. So let's go back to races, let's say. So the very last thing I wanted to mention, on behalf of Audi, we want to celebrate the great win of last week at the Rally Dakar, the very first time in which an electric vehicle won such a challenging competition. So thank you all. Have a great Ducati day here in Campiglio. Thank you, Fabrizio. Thank you, Audi Italia. So we talked about Ducati, so I think we can now ring the bell of Ducati's house, let's say, so we can welcome somebody that will talk about Ducati and the main points of this session before talking about the bikes and the great champions. So let's now invite on the stage Ducati's CEO, Claudio Domenicali. Hello, Barbara. So here we are once again. We were here last year after a great and successful season, and so we're about to start a new season. I know you have a lot of things to talk about, so I will leave you the stage, and then I'll be back. Okay, great. So I would like to welcome you all. We have at the second edition of Campioni in Pista. I want to welcome everybody who's here in the room. I'm very excited about seeing a full room here today, but I would like to welcome also our fans who are connected from home. We also have different TVs streaming this event, so I hope this event will be interesting for you with a lot of news. We are here in Campiglio, location that shares, together with Ducati, very important values. Ducati has a great history, an evolution towards beauty, towards design. Design has always been a very important element, but today that's even more important for us. You know that beauty fills our hearts. Last night we were celebrating together and seeing the moonlight, for example, all together in the mountains. That was great. A location that is strictly connected with Audi as well. And in a sort of magical way, it puts together this desire for beauty and this passion, this personal passion for mountains that we all have. And also the fact that our brands are connected with the territory. Last year we were presenting a season that would be very successful, and we were already world champions last year in MotoGP and Superbikes. So we were not sure about 2023 and about repeating ourselves and our success, but we were successful again. So I like to remind you that this is something unprecedented because no company had won MotoGP and Superbike championships 2 years in a row. So I think this is a goal that needs to be somehow consolidated. And the question might be, how can you do even better during this season? But we will talk about that pretty soon. Anyway, we concluded a season that we are very proud of, not only from the point of view of Ducati, but also a lot of Italian people were proud of our success. Even some people in the room have been supporting us as Italians. So I think it was a great result for Italy as a nation. We celebrated it in our own Ducati way. We celebrated in the arena in Bologna with 8,000 people. So this is part of our mindset, our philosophy. Just like giving you this presentation in a very peculiar way, the possibility of spending time together, of enjoying this amazing location, but also the possibility of celebrating all together. We celebrated again in our Ducati way, creating some replicas for our fans that every bike will be signed by our champions. Last year we did a replica of Pecco and Alvaro's bikes, and this year we expanded the range, let's say, because we didn't only win the championship in MotoGP, but we all remember that we ranked first, second, and third. So also Jorge and Bezzecchi have their own replica. And we like to remember and to remind ourselves that Ducati is very committed to races, of course, but we would like to talk about the company in general as well. Last year was a year in which we celebrated 30 years. And we celebrated also the 916 Monster, and that was very important for fans in general. So we created 2 replicas. Our fans were very excited about it, and these replicas are now sold out. And we also made a very peculiar bike. Last year we had a collaboration with Lamborghini, and now Diavo Bent was a tribute, let's say, the Diavo Bentley for the fans that are passionate about it. And I like to remember also that we like to create very peculiar versions of our bikes. So we have Ducati Unica, thanks to which each fan can have a specific connection with the brand. We would like to create single specimens, unique specimens, like the one you can see, like the bike you can see behind me. And we also guarantee uniqueness certificates for these bikes. And we also like to share our passion, but not only our passion, but also our suffering in a way, because you know that races are about passion and excitement, but also tension and pain somehow. So our fans can be welcomed in our GP hospitality. We are in 2024, and we talked about 2023, and unfortunately, that's how the world goes. We conclude a season, we celebrate a lot over Christmas, and then another season starts. We're here to talk about sports programs. We're all ready to present the Ducati's approach towards this new year. We will talk about MotoGP, we will talk about Superbike. We have 2 very consolidated teams, Ducati Lenovo Team and the Aruba IT team for Superbike. We're talking about 2 very solid teams with important racers that will struggle a little bit more this year, because we're living in a world where there have been some changes about rules. So Ducati has won a lot, but the rules have changed. and so this is going to make things harder for us. So our competitors will have had sort of a series of advantages. Alvaro, for example, won 2 championships, but he will start with a penalty this year. It doesn't happen in all championships. I was joking about it earlier on. I was talking about skiing. So even in skiing, the ones that were in the first places, they are disadvantaged this year. And we have Guido Meda here with us. He's one of the competitors, and since he's been on the podium, since he's been one of the firsts, he's also worried. And we will find out something completely new, something brand new, a new chapter, a new challenge, which we think is pretty interesting. We like to think, we would like to bring Desmos to the off-road world. We've already launched some videos where you could see the bike, but today you will finally see it. We will have a presentation of our Ducati proposal for the off-road world. We like the idea of attracting young clients that are passionate, that could be passionate about the overall Ducati system. And I was very excited when I saw the bikes all together, so the GP superbike and off-road bikes all together, because you really understand that there's a global system based on Ducati, which is a brand made of passion, of races. And we also created a sort of graphic sign together with Aldo Drudi that will accompany somehow these 3 adventures, MotoGP, Superbike and off-road, with a unicum. So all the bikes are red, Ducati red, with this sort of graphic sign that represent a curve, a turn. So in our logo you can see a turn that represents the passion, the excitement of a curve. And having this sign on all bikes certifies somehow that they all belong to such an important program. I hope I didn't forget anything, and we are ready to start the actual presentation with Gigi and the other protagonists. So I think we're all ready to start the new season, and I think you're ready because in your heart and in your eyes you still have the great emotions and the strength of the previous season, of the last season. So if you agree, let's watch a video about Ducati Best of.
Well, what to say, so many emotions in this great family, the family of Ducati Corse. Regarding great families and friends, a short while ago Claudio Domenicali mentioned Guido Meda. Guido, I saw you in the public. Please, hop on the stage, come on. Don't be shy. We have a schedule, and in some time you decide to abandon the schedule and to improvise, so I couldn't but call you on the stage. You're beautiful in a mountain style. So I was thinking that so many times I live those emotions we saw in the video. Sometimes I live those emotions, I experience those emotions from the sitting on the sofa, and sometimes I'm right on the racetrack. So what do you think about it? Well, I think that for 25 years I haven't watched a race being silent, because I've always commented in the TV those races. So yes, for 25 years I've always commented on the TV. Regarding knowledge, you know that this is a huge family. Ducati Corse has a huge captain. Don't you want to call him on the stage? Yes, Mr. Gigi Dall'Igna, General Director of Ducati Corse. Gigi, how are you doing? Hi, everybody. Hello, Gigi. You can place yourself here in the middle between us. Before, I saw that you were telling each other some things. I always listen to interviews with the riders. I didn't want to ask you what you were telling each other before, but I will place myself here, near to you, not so close. I just ask you to ask Gigi the question you asked before, because I'm very curious about it. Yes, why not? In fact, when a journalist asks a question, the other person answers the way they want, actually. They could, now Gigi could answer with a different answer from the one he gave before. Yeah, I had this question out of curiosity. Gigi, later on we will be talking about 2024 and all its details, but I would like to know, when you tested in Valencia, I don't know what kind of evolution the 2024 bike was. When you tested the bike with Pecco and Enea Bastianini, the conclusion, Bagnaia draw at the end of the day, well, he said that he was so much thrilled and happy about the bike, but we didn't know what this comment was about. So could you please delve into this comment Bagnaia said? Why was he that satisfied? Well, yeah, I already have a pointer here. Yeah, I have all devices I need. The Valencia testing session is a very special one. After such a special championship like the one in 2023, it is very difficult, always very difficult to do tests. So we focus on details so much longer, and especially the engine, because engine at the end of the day is that part of the bike that will be sealed for the whole season. You cannot modify the engine once you have confirmed that version of the engine. In fact, the handling of the engine has to be good, power output has to be good, and also reliability has to be seamless, has to be perfect. Our riders need to work perfectly throughout the championship with the 8 engines they have available. So the comment of Pecco was about the engine, and he was very happy about it. In these past few years, we have developed a lot. We have increased a lot in terms of power. In the past years, it was kind of difficult to increase the engine performance. But this year, I think we have taken a step forward, a very important one from that point of view, from the point of view of the engine. And Pecco realized it very, very clearly. At the same time, the handling of the engine is still the one of the previous version. And this shouldn't be taken for granted. So at the end of the test session, Pecco was extremely happy about the bike and about the engine. Yes, this is very important for your riders. Apart from the beautiful presentation of the team in Campiglio and apart from these beautiful models you're about to show, I would like to know at which stage you are regarding the World Championship. You want to raise the bar every year, right? You have now so many branded bikes in the racetracks. I imagine that the same goes for you. I mean, you design bikes and then you go with those bikes on the racetrack. You go to the racetracks. So what are we expecting from this beginning of the season? Well, beginning the season is the most difficult moment every time. We are about to receive all the parts to assemble the bikes. We have so many bikes on the tracks racing, so this will be a very, very complex issue. You know what we did, you know to which extent we developed our bikes, but you never know what our competitors are doing at their homes. So this is always a moment full of tensions, full of adrenaline. We leave the first testing sessions with a high tension, with a lot of adrenaline and being anxious, because at the first day in the testing session, you hear the roars of the bikes all together, and adrenaline is rocketing in those cases. We are extremely happy about what we did. Our fairing will be extremely different from the ones we have used so far. And in this case too, we always think that what we do is beautiful, what we do is kind of easy, but it is not, because in Sepang, our riders will have to judge the work we did with our engines and with our chassis and the bike in its whole. So you are the leader of this designing group, of this designing team, and you see at the end of the day the advantages of all your work, but you could also see the disadvantages of all your work, because sometimes things don't come out as you wish.
Tu gestisci, ma non è che ogni piccola
But it is also true that you are a manager, but not all the ideas come out of you. You were born in 1966. You have a white beard. You have hairs. Yeah, you still have hair, but you could also have a hair loss, which is a common trait of people with a lot of experience. But the results here are not only your merit, right? No, in fact, we are a whole family. Everybody works here and everybody deserves to receive congratulations. And at our home in Borgo Panigale, so many people do a lot of efforts. They make many efforts to deliver our riders performing and reliable motorbikes. So in every chance I have, every time I can, I say congrats on your job to everybody, all people who work with me and who make Ducati such a special brand. Okay, that's all from my side. I loved listening to your interview. I loved listening Gigi telling about the beauty of these bikes, and also the fact that so many people devote their days to perform great work with these bikes and to make them performant. We have been talking about the right fairing, the right field to compete. I think that the moment has arrived for the unveiling. Yes, we are about to unveil these new bikes for 2024. Thanks to those bikes, we are going to dream the whole season. Thank you.
Ed eccole qua, le meravigliose.
Here you have the beautiful Desmo 16 GP and the Panigale V4R. What to say, they are all beautiful. This is a typical Ducati red. The details in red are amazing, as Mr. Domenicali said before. So what do we have here? Here we have all the bikes, the MotoGP bikes, the Superbike bikes, and now time has come for calling on the stage the new protagonists who are going to make our dreams come true. Are you ready? Are you ready? Can we start? Yes, we start with the number 23. He will run with number 23. 2023 should have been his year, but due to injuries he couldn't. But in spite of that, he overcame difficulties and he obtained a beautiful win in Sepang at the end of the season. For the second year with the colors of Ducati Lenovo Team, time has come for him to win again. Enea Bastianini. Hi Enea, how are you doing? Welcome to this stage. Let's move on because speed in racetracks is crucial, is paramount. So we want to be fast introducing the next rider. This year he had 16 wins, 21 podiums and the rider's title. Now he is in Superbike and he will compete in Superbike. The world champion for Supersport 2023, Nicolò Bulega. Welcome, Nicolò. Still talking about Superbike with our man of records, 27 wins in 36 races, 31 podiums, the fastest on the racetrack, the new record man in Ducati history in World Superbike with 59 wins. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the twice world champion Alvaro Bautista. Welcome, Alvaro. Let's continue. In 2023, the season that had just ended, he won 7 Grand Prix, 4 sprint races, he had 7 pole positions, he hopped on the podium 15 times in the MotoGP races, and he has been the first Italian rider on an Italian bike to be champion in MotoGP. A beautiful palmarès. The twice world champion in MotoGP, Francesco Bagnaia. Hi, Francesco. So we have mentioned Superbike, we have mentioned MotoGP. Guido Meda is here with us. Let's take chance of his presence. Hi, everybody. Hi, Nicolò. Hi, Alvaro. Hi again. Hello again, Barbara. Hello, Enea. I knew I had to place myself here in this position between the two riders. So I give you the floor, Guido. Okay, I start with them. Okay. Yeah, I was thinking about the fun we had watching you. Sometimes we also suffered. For example, did you listen to the question I asked Gigi? Were you satisfied about your answer, that you were smiling like a kid in Valencia? I told Gigi that when you ended your testing session in Valencia, you ended up the day smiling like a child. So why did you smile? Why were you smiling like that?
No!
And Gigi answered that we needed to wait. We couldn't be too optimistic. That's what Gigi said. Yeah, Gigi told me that you were happy about the engine because you wanted to do you wanted to take an extra step forward in the engine management, and you were happy about the achievements of your team. Yes, in Valencia sometimes you cannot make the difference regarding the engine under many points of view, but we managed to do a great job. So I left Valencia being very happy. 2 days before I had won the world title, so I was generally happy, but the testing session in Valencia was extremely positive. So let's ask your teammate. There were so many difficulties in this season. Both of you have a mic, right? Yes. Was it the same for you in Valencia? Yes, the same goes for me. When I hopped on the new bike for 2024, I found myself at ease. I was really comfortable driving the bike. It was a small change, but I could feel the differences between this bike and the bike of the previous one. I think that in Sepang there will be further news. We never know what future has thought for us. Okay, I go back to talk to the world champions. He has now so many duties and responsibilities because he is a world champion. Now, Pecco will have to say, you will have to say your opinion, because you will have to show more and more, and you will have to fight and to face new situations and new challenges. Now, in the next coming years, there will be so many opponents, so many rivals on the racetrack. Yes, we are going to raise the bar more and more. The fact that you have 8 Ducati bikes in the racetrack is something that can favor me, but also the other way around. And I think that all the teams have made a step forward. The KTM last year had improved a lot, Aprilia as well, and Honda and Yamaha will make a step forward too. They will improve their performance as well. I think that competition is very important in terms of challenges we need to take on. If you could pick a characteristic of the Bagnaia package with your Desmos Edici. Compared to last year, you have improved, you learned something. I can figure out you are different from last year. So what is the main characteristic you have now and you didn't have last year? Yeah, I learned that you need to be quiet, you need to stay calm, because if you work well, you just have to stay calm and results will arrive. Enea, this year has been full of learning for you. You had to face several changes, you had injuries. This is part of the game, you know, and we know that. But the end of the season allowed us to see again the most beautiful version of Enea Bastianini. You have to recover a very important gap to get closer to Pecco. Are you ready for this challenge? Are you the real beast you showed us before? I think I need to do more tests. I need to try more. Last year I hadn't the chance to run tests, apart from the initial one. So I was given a bike that was already ready. I couldn't test it as I wanted. But now, today, in the present, details make a difference. We need to work on details. That's why I want to test more. But I feel physically fit, I feel ready, and I'm fully motivated. I think and I believe that you can't wait to be back to the racetrack, because holidays are beautiful, you can rest, you can spend your time as you want, but then you can't wait to go back to the racetrack. Yeah, at the moment we are just... Yeah, we are fully motivated and we really want to go back to the racetrack. We want to race again. And sometimes I wonder if I'm still able to drive a bike, because after so many weeks resting, last year the break was 3 months. Okay, Pecco Bagnaia and Enea Bastianini. A great applause for them. Thank you, Guido. So I now move to this side of the stage and I will start interviewing Nicolò. Nicolò, I'm going to unveil a secret we had. I'm going to disclose a secret we had. You were telling me about the emotions you felt when you were a young boy and you saw this event being broadcasted in Madonna di Campiglio. You are now one of the protagonists, so your dream came true. You are on your new bike for 2024 and you are before an audience that is waiting for you to make them passionate. What are your feelings now, your emotions? Being here with these beautiful bikes is just amazing. Being here with these incredible teammates is wonderful. This is a beautiful experience, seen from inside and seen from outside. Last year, when I was called to join this presentation, I was extremely happy. So I'm now enjoying it, and I will do my best. Regarding great champions, you will have as a teammate the champion in Superbike, Alvaro Bautista. So you two are going to compose a wonderful team, right? Yes. Having Alvaro with me in the team will be tough because he's such a good racer. I'll be suffering because Alvaro will be fast all the time throughout the season. On the other hand, this will be my first year as official rider, so I will have to learn so many things. But having him as a teammate will be paramount for me, will be crucial. I will try to copy and paste. I will try to steal some secrets from him to be faster, some tricks. Yes, he will help you a lot. Regarding the bike, we have just seen the colors, the fairing is a bit different, and also Gigi Dalligna told us about some new details. What kind of bike is it? It is an amazing motorcycle. In my opinion, these new graphics are just amazing. Last year it was already beautiful, but this is even better. Okay, Nicolò, I will now switch to Alvaro Bautista. Alvaro, we do have great news. This season is about to start with so many changes, with so many novelties regarding the technical level, regarding the rules. There are new sponsors, so many news. In a nutshell, you have a new teammate. So how are you approaching this start of the season? Okay, I can say that this new season will be a great challenge. So many changes compared to last year. Last year, at the end of the day, we just changed the number. I switched from 19 to 1, but this year will be full of serious changes. My teammate for this year is very young, is very strong, he pushes a lot, and when you receive a young teammate in the team, you know that that person is hungry for victories, for wins. He wants to do his best. So I'm extremely happy because he's here with me. I'm going to be sided by a very motivated rider. And the technical regulation has changed compared to last year. Some changes are for the good for us. They will help us, they will favor us, but some other details are not so good for me because some details and some rules are about minimum weight. But we are going and we are trying to work to reach the same levels of last year. But you know, every year is different from the previous one. We will try to be as competitive as possible. They say that winning is always difficult, and winning again is even more difficult. How do you find your motivation? Maybe this arrival of Nicolò, he's so young. This could be a further push, a further factor for motivation for you, right? Yes, I think that when changes arrive, you have two ways to face them. On one hand, you can feel sort of defeated or disadvantaged. On the other hand, you can accept the challenge, take on the challenge, and do your best. I have picked the second option. I want to do my best. I'm happy about Nicolò's arrival here, and this makes me feel more motivated. I will try to do my best, and I will try to be even better than last season. And most of all, I have fun. I think that is the key for success. I have fun when I ride my bike, I feel good, I really feel comfortable, and I feel good vibes. I would like to ask you the following. When we interview before races and also after races, we see your reactions, and those reactions let us see that you have fun when you spend time on your bike. Is that right? Yes, I believe so. I think that thanks to experience, I can see now things differently. Before races, I'm quiet, I stay calm, I'm self-confident. And I know what I want from every single race. I know what I have to do in every single competition. And after the race, especially if I manage to achieve what I wanted, I'm even happier. I'm truly happy, really. Every win, every podium, every result has to be celebrated, has to be shared and celebrated with your team. Every win has to be celebrated as if it were the first one. Thank you, Alvaro. So, you have worked a lot as the person we are about to invite on the stage. This person has worked a lot. He has been a witness of so many wins. The new sporting director of Ducati Corse, Mauro Grassilli.
Hello, Mauro. Hi, Barbara. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to all people connected from home as well. Because now I will ask you a lot of questions. First of all, sorry to interrupt you. I'm very nervous and excited. So sorry about my pronunciation of S's and Z's because of my accent. But anyway, so looking back at our experience, we talked about 2023, then we talked about considering and focusing on the future. But now let's focus on the past. 20 years ago, you started your career in Ducati Corse, so it's been quite a long time. Actually, in 2003, I was graduating in economics, and I had an interview in Ducati Corse as a marketing responsible, then a sponsor account manager, a marketing director, and now I'm a sporting director. I can only imagine how many emotions you felt in these years, but especially in the last year. That's right. As I was telling you before, I've been living all these years on a specific side, but in the last year I had the privilege of sharing ups and downs with our sponsors. And I would like to thank actually our sponsors, because we've shared beautiful moments, more negative moments, but they've always been with us. So I would like to thank them for always working with us and being close to us. And your family is becoming more and more important and is also getting bigger. Yeah, we have a very important partner team. We've been working with them. Well, actually, we worked with them for quite a long time, and now we're working. Then we stopped, and now we're working with them again. We have Elika as well. We have Woody 40 as well, and Italy. And the very last sponsor is Melinda, that has joined us recently, and we are in Trentino. So Melinda is a very important company in this area. I would like to invite on the stage a very special person, somebody that is essential for our Ducati Lenovo team. Let's now introduce the Global Sponsorship Director for Lenovo, Lara Rodini. Hi Lara, good morning, welcome. Hi Mauro, hi guys. It's always nice and thrilling to be on this stage. It's nice to see you again and to know that once again, well, in your case, personally, and Lenovo as a company, you're part of this family, of this group, and you want to win again. But talking about this combination, this partnership and collaboration, how is it for Lenovo to be part of this team, of this family? It's a great adventure that started a few years ago. It's an adventure that we define as unity of purpose. So it's based on shared values, common values like speed, performance, but also passion and team spirit. So after these successful years, we couldn't be more excited about the new season. We keep putting our technology to the disposal of each member of Ducati's team, and not only. And by doing so, we promote transformation, and we always try to improve performances. So the new season is about to start, so it's the right moment for champions to prove that they're champions. So we have no doubts. I think that thanks to our passion and professionalism, Ducati will be ready. I'm sure about that. Thank you, Lara. Thank you, Lenovo. Mauro, I know that we're about to introduce another very important person. Yeah, I would like to invite on the stage a person that put his company on the track, a person who is very passionate and whose contribution is essential for our team. Okay, so the team principal of Aruba IT Racing Ducati, Stefano Cecconi. Stefano, welcome. And so I'm the one asking questions, as usual. I have a lot of questions, but I will try to be brief. So I will start with Alvaro. Alvaro won so many titles. He's our record man. He's the Ducati racer with the highest number of Superbike wins, wearing also Aruba Racing colors. It's a lot. It's a great success, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. Welcome, everyone. Hello, everyone. It's an honor for us to thinking that we contributed to this success. Then let's move on to a very young talent, a very young racer that became a world champion. Talking about him, so about Niccolò, what can you tell us? What are your expectations about Niccolò? I will ask you something more about Alvaro later, because I don't want him to worry too much about the questions. But anyway, talking about Niccolò, it was not a bet or a challenge, because we really relied on him for the Supersport project. We were aware that we had found a magical combination, because he's very young, but he has a lot of experience, and we needed precisely someone like him, and he proved to be great. great during the first year. That it was a sort of learning experience for him and for the team. And then during the second year, when we reached our goal. Alvaro, what do you think about what Stefano has just said? Are you ready for these new challenges? Of course, we are ready, because at the end of the day, I can do my best, but I need to have a great team with me, and to have great friends like Stefano and great sponsors. So I think that we are full of energy altogether. We're very motivated, and we will try to do great again. We will do our best together. So, congratulations to Alvaro Bautista. Are you satisfied, Stefano? Yeah, of course. I would like to see if he's going to win the biggest challenge. Asking him to win the third championship in a row was evident. It was not very original. So I asked him to gain weight. We're talking about the changes in the regulation, and after his injuries in the Jerez tests, I asked him to gain weight, and he told me I will try to do so. So every time he saw me, he would ask me if I was training. And I was telling him, yeah, I'm training, but not that hard, like, step by step. So have a great season, Stefano. Thank you. Now we are ready for the next moment. So there is somebody that we could mention and we could greet and even invite on the stage. Our maestro, let's say. Paolo, are you around? Paolo Ciabatti. Good morning, everyone. Hello. Hi, Barbara. It's nice to see you again. Paolo and Mauro. So a great transfer, and we also have Guido Meda. Okay. This time I was not invited, but I dare to take a minute, and I would like to give a personal comment, but I think I'm pretty sure about it. Anyway, I would like to briefly say something on behalf of all those who work in MotoGP, and especially journalists. We would like to wish you good luck, to wish Mr. Grassini, good luck specifically. I remember when you started in Ducati, and we would like to thank, from the bottom of my heart, Mr. Ciabatti. We've been working together for a long time, and he has had different roles, different professional profiles. He's not only been a Ducati man, but I think that his balance, his politeness have been essential, even during very hard moments, moments in which we even were not that calm, we were not that relaxed. Even in those hard moments, you've been great, and not only, you've always been able to give us the answers we were expecting for, and you showed us that you are a great human being. So, since you're about to start a new adventure, I think that irrational instinct, that excitement about hopping on the bike again, you have it for sure. But before starting this adventure, I just wanted to say thank you and wish you good luck on behalf of all of us. Please stop, otherwise I will get emotional. Well, usually a journalist doesn't get on the stage and say something like that, but our environment, our world is nice also because we can feel free about being men and not just professionals or journalists. So good luck. I didn't want to put pressure on you, but if they picked you, it's because you're the right guy. I was born in 1972. So I didn't expect that from Guido. I'm pretty touched. But it's a pleasure to be here, and I'm very happy. I'm very happy for Mauro to take my role. He has done a great work in marketing and sponsorships, and I think that Ducati Corse is the companies with the highest number of sponsors worldwide, and that allows us to deal with the competitions keeping a certain level, a high level. Mauro is a friend of mine. We've been sharing a lot of difficult moments, a lot of decisions. In 2013, when I was back to Ducati, we decided together to put him in charge of marketing, and I think he really deserved it, and I think it was the right moment for him to take that further step, and he can always count on me. And it's a pleasure for me because he's not just a colleague of mine, but he's also a friend of mine. So good luck for this new adventure. And let's not get too emotional. I will not let you go because I will surely need you. I will look for you all the time. You will always find me, don't worry. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Mauro. Good luck, guys. Big round of applause for our racers. Goodbye, guys, and have a great season, everyone. Paolo, I will get off the stage and I will let you talk about the start of a new season, of a new project.
As I think you know, in the past few weeks, Claudio entrusted me with a very important role. This is a new start, a new beginning. This is a new project we have created, we have launched Ducati Corse Off-Road. This is the first time Ducati competes in the off-road segment. This is a thrilling and exciting challenge. Maybe I am old enough to need new motivation from different challenges. And in fact, I'm fully excited, and this will be a year for developing the bikes. We are going to face this coming year by developing this new bike for the off-road competition. I think now time has come for a video regarding off-road.
Bene, allora credo che l'atmosfera l'abbia
Very well. I think that the right atmosphere was set by this emotional video. And I know that each of you is now curious about these new bikes. The new bike has a new name, has a name which is Desmo 450 MX. And it has been developed in the past few months. I would like to thank Stefano Pezzuto and Anton Meo, who have developed this bike. I would like to show you the bike by unveiling it and then call on the stage the two riders who will compete with this off-road bike. They will help us overcome the developing stages to be ready for the World Championship MXGP in 2025.
Signore e signori,
ladies and gentlemen, the Ducati Desmo 450 MX. In this case as well, I would like to thank our partners. Thanks to them, we have been supported in this first stage of our new adventure. This year, these two bikes will be competing in the Italian Championship of Motocross. Our goal is to develop these bikes as good as possible. I would like to thank Monster Energy, which is not just present on MotoGP bikes and off-road bikes, but because they also are supporting us with other partners, which will be crucial to our development in these first stages. The time has now come for calling on the stage these two racers, the 9-time world champion of motocross, Antonio Cairoli. Hi, Tony. And the 8-time Italian champion, Alessandro Lupino. Hello, Alessandro.
Adesso la moto l'avete vista.
So you have now seen the bike. These two riders are just exceptional. They have decided to embrace this new project, to participate in this amazing project, which is 100% Italian. So let's ask Tony, why did you decide to participate in this important project? Actually, you have been working for years and years with another brand. Then, after some phone calls and contacts, we managed to be here together. Being here is such a pleasure. This has not been a very easy decision, a very easy transition. In fact, I was perfectly comfortable where I was with the previous brand, so I decided to take on this new responsibility. And, you know, making these changes is never easy. But I felt something inside. I felt motivated again from something different. So I decided to embrace this new project and to dedicate myself to this program, to this new project in the best possible way. I would like to thank Ducati and the whole team, the whole staff, because they really helped me a lot in these first stages of this new adventure. Alessandro and I are good friends. He's a great tester, he's a great technical rider. He is one of the best motocross racers in Italy. So I would like to thank everybody for this new chapter. When you tested the bike for the first time back in December in Sicily, I sent Claudio a clip, a video with our first impressions. So I would like to hear from you what the first impressions are. I would say that the first impressions have been just amazing, even if the bike was still in the initial stages of development. In fact, that was the first time we rode bike in the racetrack. We have been impressed by this first draft version of the bike, let's say. That's why everything happened so fastly, so quickly, because the bike was good right away, right in the first test. That's why we are here today, participating in this beautiful day of presentation of the team. Alessandro, in the video I sent Claudio, the first comment he made was, when will we compete in the first race? So what are your feelings? How are you feeling today with these great champions? Alessandro has also won a world title in the 85 cylinder capacity category. And we are here surrounded by riders who have won so many Italian and world championships. I feel humbled and honored. I've always watched this beautiful presentation from home, sitting on my sofa, and now I'm sitting on my bike for 2024 and the years ahead. So thanks for this honor I feel. Thanks for letting me participate in this great family. I'm enthusiastic about the project, I'm enthusiastic about the bike. As you can see, this bike is just spectacular, it's just amazing. I was extremely impressed when I tested it for the first time in Sicily back in December. It was a prototype back in December, and I could have expected anything from a prototype. But while I was driving it, I realized that it was not just a prototype, it was a new bike and it was ready to race. That's why I made that comment that we are ready to compete in the first Grand Prix in motocross. I can't wait in 1 year and a half, once this project will be over, I can't wait to compete in the World Championship. Thank you, Alessandro. I would like to call on the stage some other people who are working behind the scene in this project. Davide Perni, the engineer who is now devoting his life to this project. Corrado and Marco Maggi, they are team principal and team manager of this team. They are going to help us with the bike development and they will support us in the next 3 years. So that's all from our side. I leave the floor to Barbara. Thank you, Paolo. Break a leg for this new adventure. These new bikes, seen from a close perspective, well, they are beautiful. So we are about to conclude, but before I say goodbye to you, I would like to call on the stage some friends we haven't mentioned yet. Some of them, yes. Niccolò Bulega is the first one, Alvaro Bautista the second, and then the team manager of Aruba.it Racing Ducati, Serafino Foti, and Stefano Cecconi. And then the official tester of Ducati Corse, Michele Pirro. He has also won so many championships. And then Enea Bastianini, Francesco Bagnaia, the team manager of Ducati Davide Tardozzi, Lara Rodini. We continue with the manager of the Superbike project, Marco Zambenedetti. And again, the technical director at Ducati Corse, Davide Varana, Mauro Grassilli, Luigi Dalligna, and obviously the CEO of Ducati, Claudio Domenicali. I take the chance, Claudio, to give you the floor right here in the middle of the stage so that you can say goodbye and thank all the Ducati supporters, Ducatisti, the riders and the staff. So we are about to conclude this great event. I hope you had fun. I hope you are excited and you feel engaged, as we all do. This stage is the proof of what we did so far. I'm extremely happy. I got involved in the company in 1991. I've been in this company for more than 30 years, but I've never seen something like this. I think that this stage is very telling. It tells about the willingness we have to spend time together and to do great things. I know that all Ducatisti will be proud of us, so forza Ducati. Thanks everybody, thanks Claudio, thanks Ducati Corse. I would like to thank everybody from home and here in presence. Thank you. Enjoy the season.
So there we go. Ducati have officially launched their 2024 project and their World Superbike one on their Motocross one as well. Dearie me, I think everybody managed to get an interview in there. Certainly, they got their money's worth, an hour and a bit, but it was great to be able to hear from everybody. Some interesting lines coming out. Gigi Dall'Igna in particular, I'm sure, pricked up the ears of all of the other MotoGP factories when he said that our aerodynamics, our fairings are going to be very, very different this year. That is going to certainly excite a man that we're going to be speaking to shortly, Simon Crafar. It looks as though Simon will be taking his tent to Sepang in Qatar and will be making that he make sure that he pitches it outside the Ducati box, because there's been some interesting things rolling out of that garage ahead of the new season. Right, okay, let's head to the next poll. let's get your thoughts on this. Who is going to finish higher in the 2024 MotoGP World Championship? Will it be the world champion Pecco Bagnaia, or will it be Enea Bastianini? These guys officially underway now, so give us your thoughts. A for the Beast, B for Bagnaia. Let us know who you think is going to come out on top in this inter-team battle. Of course, went the way of Bagnaia last year, but Bastianini there saying that he feels better prepared now. 5 days of testing coming his way, which he feels are going to be valuable and vital to make sure that he can make the most of this GP24 machine. So it's changing as we speak. You guys are putting your answers in, and Bagnaia has taken an early lead. 73% of you thinking that the world champion will get the better of Bastianini this year. Unsurprising that a lot of you going for Bagnaia, especially given the fact of what he's been able to do in the past 2 seasons. But don't discount Bastianini this year. I do feel it's going to be a big year for the Beast in 2024. People already speaking about who's going to replace him in the factory team for 25, but I'm sure that he's got something to say about that. Right, okay, this one gives me great pleasure. A man that I spend a lot of time with throughout the season, and I've not caught up with him for a good couple of months now. So great to introduce you all to Simon Crafar, of course, former Grand Prix winner and our man down in pit lane throughout the season. Si, great to see you. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, really good, Jack. Yeah, I've had a good break and I'm fired up, ready to go. Even lost a few kilos walking the dogs in the mountains. And yeah, I agree with you. That was interesting what Gigi said about fairings. We knew there was going to be something pulled out. It's Sepang. But for him to say very different, now we're all really interested to see what it is. So what we've seen until now, and they mentioned in there, is look, I could go through the years of what Ducati have been doing the last 3 years, and it looks like to me is what they're trying to do is increase power, make a faster machine, which is not easy because the level of machinery in MotoGP is so high. Because you look at the least competitive machine in the paddock and it's still a work of art. It's stunning, they're all trying so hard. But imagine how hard it is to improve the best bike on the grid, without making a backward step. And I think that's what we've seen over the last 3 years is Ducati trying to improve that power, managing it, but then upsetting something else. And they've been kind of jumping either side of the sweet spot, it looks like to me. And the big one was 22. How the factory team kind of didn't run the factory engine, and it was left with they ran a hybrid one, and it was left with Jorge Martin and Johan Zarco, and I think it damaged their season a bit, and that would have been 22. Then the machine changed again, and it was better, but it had another weakness they ought to get used to, and that was corner entry, and it really... after the bad luck and injury of Enea, while he was out injured, taken out by Luca Marini, he missed that period of learning how to use that bike when everyone else was adapting to it or trying to. And that was under brakes and entry. They said it was different and basically had to change how you rode it. Then now we've seen at the test, to me, was really interesting listening to Pecco Bagnaia's debrief. He's an absolute gent. He's intelligent. I really like listening to him, and he was really good to us journalists and gave us a pretty honest. Okay, it wasn't completely open because he's not really allowed to be, but he gave us a pretty honest summary of the last bit that they've been through with this engine challenge, and he sounded very happy. I don't think it was, making up stories for the presentation. Both riders sounded very positive. It sounds like they've pretty much hit that sweet spot with the engine and sounds ominous for the opposition.
Absolutely. As you say, very, very difficult to improve on a machine that I think widely regarded within the press room, in the paddock, as being one of the best machines that has ever been rolled out onto a MotoGP grid. But GG continuing to try and work and to try and find that next step forward. Of course, this year going to be impeded slightly by the new concession system. Won't be able to test as much as what they have done in previous years. Just the one wild card as well. How much of a hit is that going to be for Ducati?
I don't think it's going to be a hit in the beginning, but over time it has to take a little toll. If you can't test, they've got a brilliant test rider, Michele Pero, and that test team, the crew chief, the whole system they've got there works so well, and they are being held back. They're not allowed as many days and not allowed as many tyres. So after time, it has to take a toll, where the opposition are allowed more. So it's all to achieve what it's meant to, and that is to allow the others to catch up a little. There's something else to mention for the viewers that didn't realise and didn't pick up on what's happening, and that is the Valencia test for Ducati. They really did just focus on the engine, and because of the homologation that has to happen, and so it sounds like they're very happy with it. They'll take that, and it's been a very difficult period. I've been in touch with some of the other manufacturers, building the bikes, receiving all the parts, building the bikes, crating them up, and apparently they've just been sent to Sepang. There was a cut-off date, I think it was 19th of January, where the bikes have to be crated up and on their way. So now the work's over. Those people in the background had very little sleep for a long time, and now they'll be having their Christmas break before they catch the flight to the test in Sepang. And in Sepang, what I'm expecting to see, especially now that Gigi said that, is all the things that aren't so restricted, meaning, they have to get the engine ready. Now we're going to see chassis and aero stuff flat out. We're going to see lots of it at Sepang, and everyone hoping that engine that was good in Valencia is also good in Sepang. Valencia isn't so good for testing aero, they've found out over the last years, plus it was windy, cold, so Sepang will be the big one for sorting the aero homologation out.
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing some photos of the new machine for 2024. I know you are much more interested in what's going on underneath, but a lot of you at home quite like the looks of new bikes, and it looks as though they've made a few small changes to the livery for this year, trying to modernise it a little bit. A nice touch of a slightly different tone of red. Enea Bastianini with a bit of a rebrand as well. As ever, these bikes look absolutely superb, but a nice little change for Ducati this year, it looks like.
Yeah, you're right. I'm more interested in what is underneath it, but it does look good. I mean, how often does the Ducati not look good, And I think it's partly performance-based. If a machine is winning, it is beautiful, isn't it? Because it makes you think that is the pinnacle, One more thing to mention, sorry, on the technical side underneath, is I've seen a Misano test, a different chassis, and it looks to me like an update of something I saw a year before at Misano, and I've heard that Michele Pero likes it and he wants everyone else to try it, but if you remember, Pecco wasn't at the test in Misano, so he didn't try it. And I'm fully expecting that chassis to also be in Sepang for all of the factory riders anyway. So that's Pramac and Lenovo Team riders to try.
Yeah, there's lots of comments coming in the chat at the moment. If any of you guys do have any questions that you want to throw the way of Simon, then do put them in the comments and we'll pose them to Simon when we get the opportunity. Just on bikes looking good. Fast bikes always look good. But one thing that is guaranteed, if it's got a big number 1 on the front of it, then it's hard not to like it. Always does look a lot better with that on the front. And of course, Bagnaia, running it for the second year this year, was able to deal with and manage the weight that comes with that number 1 throughout 2023, but we were speaking to Guido Maida beforehand, and I posed to him that this is arguably going to be Pecco's toughest task yet, trying to retain that title, given the improvements and the growth that not only is the rival teams are making, but the men within Ducati are making as well, whether it be Jorge Martin or Marco Bezzecchi, or even the arrival of Marc Marquez. It's certainly not going to be an easy one for Bagnaia throughout 2024, is it, Simon?
No, and also his teammate. I've got to include him because he did have a terrible time in 23 and started off by not his fault, like I've already mentioned. And he's reminded everyone at Malaysia how brilliant he is. I mean, Alex Marquez was so on form, and I fully expected him to win. He was brilliant all weekend, and then in the main GP, Enea Bastianini came out. It did something amazing we'll all remember. And I think that's a taste of what Enea can do when he's happy. And it sounds like the changes that Ducati have made to the engine for 24 are in the direction that Enea likes. And put it another way, they've taken away some of the things that he didn't like about the 23 bike and was struggling with. So I believe, now he's fully fit, he's got another chance at it, that he's going to be dangerous.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people hope that that's the case as well. Ahead of the 2023 season, sort of this time last year at the Ducati launch, everyone was talking about that the head-to-head battle we were going to see between Bagnaia and the Beast, and it never materialised. But it's easy to forget what he achieved in 2022. He pushed Pecco on a number of occasions and beat him as well. So if Bastianini is back to his best, and as you say, that is another big problem for Bagnaia. Right, we have got some questions coming in for you, Simon. Let's take a look at this one, just to find out what the guys are wanting to know. You can let us know where you're watching this from as well. Amazing, we had people from Uruguay, Hong Kong, Malaysia, the US, all the way down to Australia. We might have even had your native New Zealand people tuning in as well, which is always good to see. Just before we get that question up, Simon, on Bastianini, it's a fickle industry, it's a fickle paddock. We have very, very short-term memories, and a lot of us have forgotten what happened to Enea in 2022, and people are already writing him off as not being able to hold on to that factory Ducati seat for 2025, but I'm sure he's going to have something to say about that.
The thing is, people were writing off Jorge Martin at the end of 22, weren't they? And he was having a tough time about what I'm talking about. Ducati had changed the engine, made more power, but it spun up. It kept spinning, so he had to change bike setup to try and give some grip, but it destroyed other areas, turning for one. And then as soon as there was probably other things in there, it damages your confidence, when you are not clicking with your bike, whether it was some focus things as well, being launched on who knows, but people were writing him off into 22 and look at him in 23, and I think Enea is a perfect candidate to do exactly the same.
Right, I think we've got that question ready now. This has been posted in on the live stream. So what do the guys want to know? This one comes from Hacky Simon. The 2024 Ducati, do you think it will be up to the level of the 2023 one by the time we get to the opening round in Qatar? And I imagine Hacky asking that because, of course, a lot of people are talking about the fact that Marc Marquez is going to be on one of those 2023 Ducatis. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's always easier to be on the machine the year before, especially early on, because you have the data, the information on making that bike work. So it's quicker to find the sweet spot. But from it's only one test, and it's at Valencia in not very good conditions. But the initial feelings of the two factory Ducati riders were that engine is an improvement. So if they get to Malaysia and confirm the same, then I would say yes, that it looks like to me, that Ducati have been hopping, like I said, either side of that sweet spot, looking for it, and it looks like they found it. So my guess is, at the moment, that's before Sepang test, is that yes, that the new bike will be competitive. Yeah, there's different chassis stuff they're going to try, different aero stuff, and that will all come into play. So, your guess is as good as mine. But Matt, the mad botanist, your guess is as good as mine. But my feeling is, yeah, they're on it. I think they're finally, they've narrowed down, where they want to be, and I think they're going to hit it. But yeah, new aero and stuff, and I'm pretty sure they won't put it on unless it's better. And if it's better, they might even have an advantage.
Absolutely. And just on that point as well, I think in the winter break in between 2021 coming into 2022, Bagnaia said, this new engine is fantastic. And then, of course, they got to pre-season in 2022 and realised that actually it wasn't what they first expected. So I'm sure there's going to be a few people within Ducati hoping that those same mistakes made then are not going to happen this time around. Next question coming in from Timo in Germany, who of course mentions the fact that new fuel coming into MotoGP in 2024. He's asking whether he thinks that new fuel can help balance the bike's power output and close the gap that we're currently seeing between the European manufacturers and the Japanese manufacturers.
There was people even hoping that it would slow the bikes down because they're getting too fast for some parts of some circuits, and we don't want to not be able to go to those circuits. So, yeah, and I was one of them, hoping that it would slow them down a little bit, but right from initial tests, I'm talking as soon as they got first batches of fuel, and you've got to remember every manufacturer has different fuel suppliers, so everyone's working on this, and this is right from initial, so you haven't even changed the internals of the engine to suit. The power was very close, and then with some time they made same power output. So there is no negative effect, on performance of the machines by going 40% of renewable fuels, So, and it's not going to be many years, 2027, it's going to be 100%. And by then, I bet that they'll be the same, There is some risks. I think the only risks that I've heard engineers tell me about, for example, when you put a different fuel in, there's different acidity that works away on engine parts internally. There's different temperatures, so they have to manage all that. Oil companies have to help with that, making an oil to handle the different environment in the engine. But the one that they won't find out until they get during the season is things like gumming up in injectors while in crates getting shipped around, which happened in early years of MotoGP, when they had fuels were less restricted, but they had this type of problem. But so you could see that affect initial practices, bike not running right or somebody's fuel doing that. But performance, Timo, they're pretty much equal as the old fuel straight away.
And that new fuel was used for the very first time at that Valencia test. And I think we saw from the timesheets that although conditions weren't ideal and they weren't at lap record pace, they were only 2 or 3 tenths away from what they were able to do during the final round of the year. Right, I think we've got one last question from the chat, which has been sent in. In fact, no, one from me, actually. We just saw then. Mauro Gracilli, a new name for us, a new person for us to go and have conversations with in pit lane, taking over the responsibilities of Paolo Ciabatti, who has done a magnificent job. A, big shoes to fill, and B, a big moment to step in for Mauro as well. I've not had any dealings with him as of yet. I don't know if you have, Simon, but just
no.
Talk to us about what a huge job he has in hand this year, because everyone has been talking about the dynamics potentially that might unfold at Ducati, given the amount of talent that they've got there, and given the circumstance that in 2024 it's a year where every contract on the grid basically comes up.
Yeah, Paolo, for starters, I mean, he's been around a long time. I've known him since '94, I believe, which was my first full season of World Superbike. He was there with the organisation back then, Flamini. And I've known him for all the years since, like obviously ducking in and out in different paddocks, different years or not there. But he's kind of been a part of the paddock.
Yeah,
so
he's been a mainstay.
Yeah, I'll miss him. I really will. He's always been respectful, and I would say because of how long we've known each other, one of the people that are more open to me, because he knows I'm not going to burn him, he'd tell me things, and so I'll miss him for that, It's also a cool project he's got, and the motocross bike looks good straight away, doesn't it? You wouldn't expect anything more. And if it's about power, Ducati are pretty good at that. So I imagine the bike being quite competitive straight away. But I wish him good luck in that. But yeah, the thing that I would like to see is how, firstly, the dynamics between riders, because there's a lot of competitive riders in Ducati this year, and maybe it'll all be fine, but if it's not, Mauro, he's going to have his hands full, keeping control of all that, managing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm personally looking forward to getting the opportunity to chat with him, and I'm sure throughout the Sepang test, the Qatar test, and then also at the opening round of the year, we'll be able to introduce him to all of you. Right, one final question before we let you go, Simon. This one coming from Stumpy in the US. Thanks for watching us, Stumpy. How tough is it to start over for someone like Martin and go again in 2024 after coming oh so close in 2023? Great question, Stumpy. And yeah, what do you think, Simon? Obviously, Jorge took it to the final round, took it to the final race, and you could see the emotion that it took out of him throughout the year. So with such a short period between that finishing and the new year starting, just how difficult is it to mentally reset and go again?
That is a good question. Interesting one as well. I was playing it through in my head. End of the season, he had to be tired emotionally, And the thing is, he's had the recovery period now, to bring himself back up to ready to go, full of energy and determination. And he's got to be a lot more, have a lot more self-belief now compared to the beginning. Like I said, remember 12 months ago, people were writing him off like people are now about Enea. And because he had such a rough year in 22, and he came out on the new bike, made friends with it, had learned from mistakes from the year before. The big thing is about Jorge is he was fully committed, which I hoped to see and wasn't sure that I would, because it seemed like he had distractions outside racing and he had a big opportunity, and he has the natural ability to do it. All the pieces of the puzzle were there. Was he going to fully commit? And he did. And I believe now he knows the ingredients, he won't stop. He won't stop, and he's going to have more self-belief. Like I said before, he's going to have the new factory bike that Pecco said is, he believes the engines and all the pieces are there. I think he's going to hit the ground running and be very difficult to stop. There's one more thing about Jorge that I noticed last year is he really learns from his mistakes, and so he's not a silly boy. And if he keeps that same motivation that he had last year, I believe he will. If he does, he's got to be fighting for the title again.
For sure. Very, very excited to see how it all unfolds. Simon, thank you for your time as ever. Very generous. Give my love to the family. Looking forward to catching up with you in Qatar, mate.
We'll do. The dogs are all waiting for their walk, so I'll get it done in the hills. So bye for now, everyone.
See you later, Simon. Great to be able to chat away with Simon, and looking forward to catching up with him fully in Qatar. He's going to be on site, live in pit lane for you at the Sepang test, and then again for the Qatar test. And he's going to be outside that factory Ducati box waiting to see what Gigi Dell'Igna has been working on over the Christmas period. He said there's going to be some pretty different looking aerodynamic parts on the front of that bike, and let me tell you, Simon will be the first to spot it and you'll be the first to know after the flag coming to you at the conclusion of all 5 days of testing to bring you a full roundup of everything that's happening as the season start draws ever closer. This one coming in from Indonesia. Go, 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 Jack. Thank you. Appreciate it. Masi Nunggu getting in touch from Indonesia. Looking forward to getting back to Mandalika later in the year. This one coming in from Angola. Wow, so I think we've pretty much ticked off all continents now. We had a question in from the US, we had Uruguay yesterday, from South America, we've now done Europe, Africa and Asia as well. Thank you DJ Lau for getting in touch from Angola. Enjoy the start of 2024 when it eventually comes round. I'm sure from Angola, maybe a big Brad Binder fan. Of course, South Africa and Brad flying the flag for Africa in the 2024 World Championship. Right, we promised you some live interviews, and I think we've got our first one coming up your way. No better way to kick off than with the world champion himself. Connor's there live with Pecco Bagnaia.
That's right, Jack. Pecco, there can be only one. Right now, you are that one. What do you need to do for the hat trick to get 3 in a row?
Win. Let's see.
Is there a particular way that you're preparing for this season? I mean, you're at the top now, but it's a different challenge to stay there and for a third consecutive year.
Like always, we are preparing, I think, the best way possible. The season will be long, many races, and will be important to remain in calm like always and try to be perfect always.
We're hoping to see Enea back at his best. Jorge Martin pushed you right to the final race of the season. Marc Marquez is going to be on a Ducati. Who do you see your main rivals for the title this year?
Let's see, it will be interesting.
We have a few questions from MotoGP fans on social media as well. So, first of all, Danish Mirza asks, what has been your best moment in MotoGP?
I think my first win and then the titles, for sure.
Okay, and a second question, this one from Darwizi, I think I'm saying that correctly. What team do you think will be closest to the Ducati factory team next year?
I think all the teams have the possibility to be close. For sure, a Ducati team.
Thank you, Pecco, and good luck.
Well, there we go. First thoughts from the world champion Pecco Bagnaia, not in his most talkative mood that we've ever seen. But anyway, good to see that Bagnaia is there still grinning away. And unsurprisingly as well, the fact that he's still got that number 1 plate on the front of his machine. Not willing to say who's going to be his closest rival this year. And yeah, the mission statement is very, very clear. He has to go out and win. That is the only thing that's on his mind ahead of the 2024 campaign. We'll be hearing from the Beast later on, hopefully in a few moments' time. But whilst we wait, let's have another quiz question to throw your way. And of course, do continue to throw your questions into the chat. Come on, guys. I said make them harder from last time. Pecco Bagnaia is a 3-time world champion. Is that true or is that false? Do let us know. Also, I need confirmation here. Are we talking all classes or just MotoGP? We're talking all classes. So throughout Moto3, Moto2, MotoGP, how many world championships has the Italian won? Is it 3? Yes or no? Let us know in the chat. True or false? We'll give you the answer to that one in a couple of minutes' time. Right, shall we have a look at what's been going down on social media? We can react to some of the first photos that have been coming in from the Ducati Corsa squad now that their weapons have been officially unveiled. I must say, although it's not our sort of bag for obvious reasons, we prefer on-road rather than off-road, the new motocross machines do look nice for Ducati. And of course, Antonio Cairoli, a man that has a lot of experience. A few changes, as we mentioned, for Enea Bastianini in particular. The number, I do like that white up against the red. He's lost that tinge of pink that he's had in previous years. So a bit of a rebrand for the Beast this year, and hoping that as a result that brings with him a little bit more power, a little bit more bicep muscle there, as we're seeing from Bastianini, of course, who had issues with that shoulder throughout 2023. The crash with Luca Marini at the opening round of the year that forced him to miss in the end. I think, what was it, 4, maybe even 5 Grand Prix. And then he had that big incident on the opening lap of the Catalan Grand Prix when he took with him 4 or 5 riders, and that resulted in him having breaks to both his hand and his ankle as well. So it was a far from easy 2023, as we've been mentioning, for Enea Bastianini. But looks as though he's close to his best now. And if he can make the most of those 5 days of testing and stay fit at the start of the year, then you have to feel that Bastianini will be able to grow into the year and cause some problems for the men that were up at the top of the championship in 23. Right, okay, quiz question. There we go. 25% of you, come on. Of course, he's a 3-time world champion. Moto2 in 2018, MotoGP in 2022, and MotoGP in 2023. We saw from those championship celebrations in Valencia at the back end of last year, where he had basketball style, the 3 different rings to signify the 3 world championships. Right, okay, let's head back live to Italy then, because Connor has now been joined by the beast, Enea Bastianini.
That's right, Jack. Enea, we saw you returning to form towards the end of the season, but obviously it's a process. So how are your preparations going for the coming campaign?
Yeah, well, I'm ready because I think I work very well. This stop has been more short compared to the last one, but I think I'm okay. I'm ready for the test, for the season, and well, I'm very excited to start.
And what about your objective for 2024? Will we see you fighting for the title?
Well, yes, I'm here for fighting for the title, but we have to take it easy the first part of the season because I have to prepare at the maximum the second one because to don't commit any error like in the last season, and well to enjoy every race.
We have 2 questions from social media as well on MotoGP. So from Philosophob, we have, hi Enea, what have you named your 2 bikes this season?
I don't know. I have to see the old 2 bikes in Malaysia, and when I see how is it, I understand which name I have to put on the bike. But for the moment, I don't know.
Okay, and we have another one here from Raquel Desastre, who asks, what do you like most about Pecco's riding style?
About Pecco riding style, the braking. He brake really later compared to all the rider, and this is fantastic. And I want to try to do the same this year because for the race is a good choice.
There you are, Jack. We've got our MotoGP team for the Ducati factory team. Back to you in the studio.
Yeah, thank you, Connor. Great to hear from Enea Bastianini. Looking in high spirits is the Italian. Of course, a world champion himself after Moto2 success in 2020. I think a lot of you at home are hoping to see the best of the beast in 2024 after a frustrating 23, because he certainly provided plenty of entertainment in 2022. Who could forget those memorable Grand Prix where he finished second to Bagnaia on home soil in Misano, then got the better of him in Aragon in an absolute classic, and that nail-biting championship on the line race at Sepang where he was pushing Bagnaia all the way. There were some great moments, and we're hoping to see more of the same this year. Carlene's got in touch from Sydney, Australia. Great to hear from you, Carlene. I mean, dearie me, it's midday here in Central Europe. It must be late at night for you, so thanks for staying up throughout the night to watch the world champion present his new campaign. Thomas getting in touch from Germany. Good morning to you, Thomas. Great to have you with us. Enjoy the upcoming season. Who else have we got as well? Tamara has got in touch from Poland. Great to hear that the Poles are in touch. Looking forward to enjoy the season ahead. Yuri, hello from Czech Republic. Great to hear from Yuri. It's a great shame that we can't get to the Czech Republic anymore. Brno was a real fan favourite. Maybe that's hopefully can make a return on the calendar in future years. Czech Republic, a great country, and hopefully we might be able to, as we go through these presentations. I know that you guys in the Czech Republic hear a lot from Carol Abraham, a part of your TV crew, and hopefully we'll be able to hear from Carol as we go throughout these presentations, and we try to bring some different views, some different voices that you might not have heard before. Right, I think this will be an interesting video just whilst we wait for the team bosses to come to us, because Simon was speaking at length. We've also heard from Pecco Bagnaia on stage there about this brand new 2024 Ducati and the changes that they've made to the engine. Well, Bagnaia was speaking after the Valencia test here about the improvements that they've made. So let's just hear what he had to say then before we speak a little bit more in detail about this GP24.
Pecco, at the end of the final day of track action here for 2023 and start of 2024 as well, you got a small taster of the 2024 bike, a new engine at least. What's your initial impressions of that?
I can be happy. We can be happy. Ducati can be happy. I think the best way to start with a new bike is like this. The feeling was good. We don't have doubts that the new engine is working well, but for sure some areas to improve. But right now I'm happy. I feel it great. In some areas I feel it better than last year bike already, and this is already a great thing. So still a margin to improve, a big margin to improve, but it's a really good way to start.
In terms of those positives and negatives, what could be improved and what already is somewhere that you know needs to be touched on?
Have improved the entry of the corners. We had to improve the power delivery a bit.
Is that just for traction out of the corner?
Yeah. We need more. The acceleration have to be more. Maybe I don't know how to say. More connected.
And lastly, Pecco, just wanted to ask you about, obviously, one of the big stories today is Marc Marquez jumping on a Ducati for the first time, actually, a bike that you just won the World Championship on, and he was very fast straight away. I'm sure it wasn't a surprise, but what was your take on his day today?
I was saying some races ago with the journalist that he was first in the first test. I missed it for 3-4 positions, but I think he can be very happy with the bike. We did a wonderful job of the season with this bike, and he can enjoy.
Thank you, Pecco. Enjoy the wedding planning now.
Yeah, of course. Wedding planning to come for Pecco Bagnaia as he waits to finally get wedded to his fiancée now, Domitia. But interesting what he was saying there with the new engine, the fact that even at that Valencia test, and let me tell you, it was very, very windy, it was very cold, track conditions far from ideal. So for him to say that, this is a step in the right direction, I think will have put, and the fact that he's continuing with those statements now at this team presentation. The other factor is their chief rivals on alert, knowing that they really have to step up this year if they are to take the fight to Ducati and try and steal that World Championship away from them. Interesting corner entry. Simon was just mentioning there that was their biggest issue to try and overcome, so it looks as though they've been attending to that as well. So that was a positive interview from Pecco Bagnaia that was done following the Valencia test, and as a result, he is the man to beat, of course. A lot of talk going on about who his teammate will be for 2025. I know we've not got 2024 even started yet, but already that is going to dominate headlines as we go throughout the year. From speaking to some people within the paddock, we even did an interview with former Ducati team boss, World Championship winning team boss, Livio Supo, just a couple of weeks ago, and he said, if I'm Ducati, my priority number one is to try and tie that man down to another 2-year deal. I think it was interesting in an interview about a week ago, he said that Pecco Bagnaia said he wouldn't be interested in a new contract, anything like we saw from Marc Marquez when he signs that 4-year deal, of course, tying himself down for 4 seasons before the 2020 campaign started. I mean, he didn't even manage to see out the entirety of that 4-year deal, as we now know, from Saturday, because he's jumped onto a Gresini bike 1 year before that contract was supposed to finish. So Bagnaia is saying, you never know in MotoGP. Things can change so quick in the space of a season, in the space of a few months, of a few rounds. So for him, his ideal, his perfect scenario would be a new 2-year deal to take him through to the end of 2025. And I imagine that this man, Luigi Dell'Igna, the big boss at Ducati, has got a lot on his plate. One of them potentially to try and sign up Pecco Bagnaia. Let's find out what the boss has got to say. He's there with Connor.
That's right, Jack. We're here with Gigi Dell'Igna. Gigi, can you tell us about the evolution of the bike? Where have you focused the development?
it's difficult to speak about evolution just before of the season. Anyway, for sure we evolve the bike in all the area. For sure we will have an engine that have some horsepower more than last season. The aerodynamics of the bike will change quite a lot. You cannot see now because we present the new fairing in the next test in Sepang, but for sure it will be quite different than what we see in the past. So also on the chassis point of view, we make some steps. So I'm quite curious to see what the others did during the winter, and I hope that our bike will be at a good level.
You've had the fastest bike for 2 years, that's shown by results, but how difficult is it to keep moving forward with the process?
It's difficult, for sure it's difficult also because of the rules. You know, at the end of last year the rules changed, and now we are the only one that have not the concession. All the others can develop the bike a lot more during the season, we cannot. So we need to do a bigger step at the beginning of the season in order to be competitive during the season. And also the Japanese, they can risk a little bit more than us because they can change the engine, they can change the fairing during the season, and so if they have some problems, they can react and solve the problem. We cannot, so it will be not easy.
A few talking points for the tech heads there, Jack. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Connor. Great as always to hear from Gigi Dall'Igna, one of arguably the biggest minds, smartest minds and most successful minds in the MotoGP paddock, given what he's been able to do with Ducati Corsa ever since stepping in as their general manager there. I mean, the development that they've made and the steps and strides that they've taken since he's been at the helm has been absolutely sensational. It looks as though he's not finished as well. I, for one, extremely excited now for the Sepang test to see what this new look 2024 Ducati is going to look like. Very different, he's saying, so cannot wait for the opening days of testing, which are only a couple of weeks away. Less than that now. Of course, the Sepang Shakedown gets underway on the 2nd, the 3rd and the 4th of February, and then we're back with you for the 6th and 7th to be live for the Sepang test, where Pecco Bagnaia and Enea Bastianini are going to be rolling out that new look 2024 machine, as Gigi Dall'Igna has just teased. Oh My Assassin has been getting in touch from Portugal. I just missed the one before as well, so apologies to that person. Can we go back to the previous comment just to make sure that we're not missing anybody? Coming in from Angie from Bunbury in Western Australia. Great to hear you, Angie, in the middle of the night there in Australia. Can't wait for the season to start. Me too. Cannot wait, Angie, and cannot wait to get back to Phillip Island as well in October next year. Always a huge fan favourite, and you can get your tickets already for the Australian Grand Prix. If you've never been, wow, have to go and try and visit Phillip Island, at least one in your lifetime. It is a bucket list trip, but it will not disappoint, let me tell you. And Norhams Mer getting in touch from Malaysia. Again, looking forward to getting to Sepang. I won't be there for the tests, but the Malaysian Grand Prix later in the year is always a big one. There's always championships on the line. Tobias getting in touch from Austria, another great one as well. The Red Bull Ring in the Spielberg Mountains, the Styrian Hillside is one of the most picturesque ones we go to, as is Lombok, Indonesia. Wow, what a venue that is, right next to the seaside. Looking forward to getting there. Thank you for getting in touch and for watching us, Kumble. And don't forget as well, we're back with you on Wednesday, where we'll be hearing from Marco Bezzecchi and Fabio De Gianantonio, maybe even the man himself, Valentino Rossi, with his team launching their 2024 season. We'll be live with you from 2 o'clock. That's 2 o'clock local time here in Central Europe on Wednesday for the next team launch. Winnie getting in touch from the UK. Big love to Pecco from Winnie. Of course, Pecco has a lot of love for the UK as well, has been pretty successful at Silverstone down the years. Wawo, he's getting in touch from the capital, the Indonesian capital, Jakarta. Thanks for getting in touch, Wawo. I've had some big events there down the years. Not Chloe from Saudi Arabia, so excited to get the season started. Of course, we will be heading to Saudi Arabia Not sure when, but they are at the moment on with building a brand new facility and circuit for us to attend, likely in a couple of years' time. So looking forward to adding yet another stop in the Middle East. We go to Qatar at the moment, of course, for the opening round of the year under the lights. And then Saudi Arabia will be joining the MotoGP calendar in the next couple of years as well. And if the new Qatar paddock is anything to go by, I imagine the venue that they're building for us there in Saudi Arabia is going to be pretty special as well. Right, anything going on social media? You, of course, can get in touch as well. Send us your tweets, send us your comments, get in touch on Instagram. And let's just see exactly what things are looking like on social media. The first photo starting to come in from the 2024 Ducati Lenovo Team lineup. You can see here on the levers in particular, just the slight change, a little bit of bright red, of highlighter red just being added to it. A bit more white this time around as well. I must say, it is a small change, as is always the case, because Ducati, it's a classic, it's a traditional, it's a famous design. That bold red is rarely going to change. But they have made a tweak, and a nice tweak as well. I have to say, I'm a big fan. The Grassini one on Saturday wasn't that dissimilar to 2023, but this is, when it comes to Ducati, I think quite a big change and a nice one as well. I'm a big fan. You can see the pair of them laughing and smiling, looking lovingly into each other's eyes. I wonder how long that will last if they start to go toe-to-toe throughout the season ahead of us. A few new sponsors on there as well as Elica, a brand new one. I've not seen that one before. And helmet designs as well. They may well change, certainly for the testing, but then as we head to the start of the season as well, they might have a few tweaks. But the beast as ever, having the teeth showing on the front of his helmet, and Bagnaia continuing on with that go free look that he's had for a number of years now. Let's have a quick look, if we can, just before we go to that number one, because that's a bit different as well. You can see the 63 in the bottom right of the corner, the 3 stars above it to signify those 3 World Championships. And Bagnaia this time has flipped it around. He had the red number one, if I'm right, throughout last year. But now, to make sure that it can match alongside that bright red on the front of the machine, he's gone for a black number one, meaning, I think, he means business. A black, the Dark Knight. I'm just thinking on top of our heads now, but it does look well. I'm a big fan of that new number one design for Bagnaia. Trying to get a little bit of lean angle on there. You can already see the aero parts there, whether it comes from down the bottom right hand corner just next to the brake discs, even attached to the front forks there as well, and then the side pods. So much aero work going on the side of that Ducati, and it looks as though it's going to be pretty different as well. Right, okay, let's head back, shall we, for the final time to Madono di Campiglio, where our man Conor Doherty is there. Excellent work throughout the day. A great launch as well. Some interesting things coming out. Bagnaia was to the point, I think we have to say, but certainly let his intentions made that he's going to be fighting for the World Championship here. The beast in positive spirits as well, and Gigi Dell'Igna giving us a few tidbits as well. So a good day all around. How much have you enjoyed your time there, Conor?
Jack, it's been absolutely fantastic here in Madono Campiglio. Things are winding down now, but the event keeps going. There are 3 days of things happening here. I mentioned it earlier. This is such an extraordinary series of events. There's going to be lots of skiing later with the riders, and of course with the team. There are walks. They're really rolling out the red carpet for everyone here, and it's just fantastic. Everything is fantastic. Ducati doing what they do best. They're right at the top of their level.
Absolutely. Have you got your skis ready? Are you ready to tackle both Bagnaia and Bastianini down the slopes later? Because from what I saw last year, Bastianini in particular is quite handy down the slopes.
Yeah, I've heard that as well, Jack. I wouldn't be the one to challenge him to a race. I think he said that skiing is his favourite thing to do outside of being on his bike. So I will not race him, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to have to go and rent him, I think, but that's the plan.
Absolutely. Well, Connor, thank you for your time as ever. What a busy few days you've had, from Riccione across to Madonna. I'm sure you've been at the espresso machine. Brilliant work. Safe flight back, and we'll catch up with you when you arrive here.
Thanks, Jack. The Grand Tour of Northern Italy. Fantastic.
It's now done and dusted, wrapped up. Well done to Connor Doherty and our camera crew down there as well, working hard, getting the miles in across the Dolomites in Italy, from the seaside to the mountains. They've certainly had a whistle-stop tour, but an exciting one nonetheless. Our man Chris Jordan is going to be joining us live from Italy for the Pertamina Enduro VR46 launch on Wednesday, so we'll catch up with Chris then. I believe he'll be on his way tomorrow to bring you all the latest from Marco Bezzecchi and Fabio De Gianantonio. Right, I think we've not got long left with you. Before we do go, though, of course, 2024 coming up very soon indeed, just over 6 weeks away from round one in Qatar. And if you are going to be joining us throughout the year as well, make sure that you're properly equipped as well. Now that the Ducati factory team are ready to go, their latest 2024 merchandise is available to be purchased now at the MotoGP store. There's a few links been posted in the chats now, or you can just go to motogp.store.com to make sure that you're kitted out with your favourite team or riders kit ahead of the 2024 season. Right, we mentioned on Wednesday that we've got the Pertamina VR46 launch coming your way. As we said, live 2 o'clock local time here in Central Europe for that one. And then we're next with you live on Saturday afternoon, a full roundup of everything that went down in Los Angeles for the Trackhouse Aprilia launch. And then this time next week, time for Pedro Acosta to be officially unveiled as a MotoGP rider for the first time. The Gas Factory Racing Squad, that's coming your way this time next week. And then it'll be full focus on Sepang. Time for bikes to hit the track in 2024. Lots coming your way over the next couple of weeks. Thank you very much for your company this morning, live from Italy and here in Barcelona. The world champion is now up and running. Can he make it a hat-trick in 2024? We'll have to wait and see. Thanks for your company. We'll see you on Wednesday.